Okay, so here we are still in Le Grand Mot, and it's winter time, February, so cold and a little bit wet today. I thought I'd maybe show you a little bit of the inside of Wildling, since we can't really be outside today, and certainly not a good day for sailing. So I'm standing in the cockpit now. I'm about to go through the cockpit door into the salon. So in the salon we've got, to my right as soon as I enter, we've got the little kitchen area. So I've got the sink, obviously. The two taps on the sink, one is fresh water and one is salt water. So when we're at sea and we don't want to waste our fresh water, we can switch over to just use salt water, and we usually kind of do all our washing and that kind of stuff with salt water, and then do like a final rinse with fresh. So saves a bunch of water, and it's pretty useful. So we've got coffee making stuff, a nice stove, an oven. The oven's even good for baking and things like that, bread and cakes and cookies and things like that. Microwave over here, which is an important piece of equipment. Okay, so just moving over around towards the front, and right now we're looking at the chart table, the navigation station, and all the instruments, radios, communications, and so on. And then down here we have the switch panel. I'm just going to move in so you can see that a little bit better. So the switch panel has all of the controls for mostly the DC loads on the boat. So everything that's run from the batteries is controlled from the switch panel here. We have the chair here, which is really cool. It sort of swivels in and out. There's some access and storage, access to the electrical systems under there. We've got our EPIRB, which is our emergency beacon if we ever need it, and fire extinguishers. There's fire extinguishers all around the boat, which is pretty nice. The chair's already comfortable. You can recline it and move it up and down and so on. Okay, so moving on, while we're still over this part here, this is the entry down into the starboard hull, which is where we have two cabins, a bathroom and a shower, and that's where the kids live when we're on the boat. And then I'm looking around here into the salon. Sorry for the mess in the salon. I've got all of the cockpit cushions stacked up in here because we're not sailing right now. We're laid up for the winter, and I wanted to put them out today before I did the video, but it's wet and I won't be able to dry them, so I don't want to put them inside wet when I leave the boat, so they're all stacked up here. But anyway, so you've got the dinette here in the salon, which has got room for lots of people. This table is on a little telescoping legs, so it can be made up into a full bed. So when we have guests on board, we can make this up for them. It's pretty comfortable. Air conditioning system in the salon. There's all separate air conditioning in the hulls as well. Let's see. And then over here is just a little kind of area for bench space for a kitchen and so on. Down over here there's a lot of storage in here. This is the little wine rack storage for wine bottles, which actually is pretty handy. We use that a lot. And we have a 2-drawer fridge, which I was never used one of these before, but I really like it. It saves having to kind of try and excavate down into the fridges that are normally kind of, with just this big pit that you've got to kind of reach down into from above. This one is really pretty good, and there's a lot of room, and we put a lot of stuff in here and haven't really even ever maxed it out. It's empty now, of course. It's pretty nice. And then there's just a bunch more sort of storage around. This is the entry down into the port hull, which is where the master cabin is and the master bathroom. So let's go down there first, and I'll show you around down in the port hull. Okay, so we go down the steps. Okay, so I'm turning left, so looking aft into the boat, and here we've got the master cabin, which is a king size bed, and lots of light and windows, so it's pretty nice. You can see out really nicely when you're lying down in bed. When you're on the passage, it's really nice. Some reading lights there, air conditioning as well, and then you've got a bunch of storage as well in here. So looking up down the companionway on the left, I've got a little desk and drawers for storing office things. So this is a nice little extra work area for, you know, doing office work or computer or whatever you like. Works out pretty well. All of these hatches here give access to systems, pumps, pipes, various things, but they're also good for storage. You can store a bunch of stuff in there. Okay, so this is the door to the companionway leading into the salon, which slides closed, and when it's closed we can access the freezer. So a little freezer here, which is pretty good because you don't need to be in the freezer very much. So having it down here isn't really an inconvenience, and there's a bunch of little sections in there. So again, it's pretty nice. It works really well, and it's got plenty of room. So we use that obviously when we're doing any kind of long passages to keep our food fresh. But it's pretty nice in here. I was a little worried having it so far away from the kitchen, but it really is quite fine because we actually, like I said, we don't use it all the time. So having it there is fine. Bunch of storage on the sides here, just to show you the hanging locker for things. And all our wet weather gear and coats and stuff in there. And then these open, of course, into shelves and things, so there's quite a lot of storage. You can see the sort of smooth, rounded surface here is the case for the dagger board on the port side. So keep going forward, we'll go into the bathroom now. Okay, so in the bathroom we've got the sink and vanity cabinet, and then there's the next compartment along. There's the toilet. It's all electric flush toilet, works really well. So that's that. And then final cabinet along, compartment along is the shower. So the shower's pretty nice. I mean, I'm 6'2" and I've got another 6 inches above me of headroom. It's a little window there you can open up to get some fresh air and ventilation. And the shower works really, really well. It's very, very nice. Okay, and then there's another big window for light. And all the hatches open up so you can get a lot of ventilation into the boat when you're under sail. Also, it's got this nice feature of got either the mosquito net on one side, and on the other side it's a blind. So it's pretty nice design. All the hatches are the same that have that feature. Okay, so we'll carry on back out here and then head back up the stairs. This is the safety escape hatch that basically looks out under the boat, and if the boat was to ever flip over, the theory is that you can open that up and climb out of it. So hopefully we never have to put that to the test. Alright, this little seat area thing here is a portable seat that mostly when we're underway we put that out in the cockpit, and it goes by the cockpit table, but when we're sort of at anchor or we need to have extra room for extra places to sit around the table in the salon, we bring it in here. Okay, so we'll go now over to the starboard hull and head down the companionway. Alright, so I'm turning aft now. Pretty much same sort of deal as on the other hull. We go back into the aft cabin, which is another king size bed, and this is Lindsay's cabin. It's funny when we're on passage, she closes it all up, so it's like a little cave in here. She likes to be all snuggled in the dark. I like lots of light and stuff around, but she likes it when it's all dark, and she watches movies and stuff when she's not which is not working or sailing the boat. Okay, so that's cabin. So turn back around and looking forward down the companionway of the starboard hull, and you've got the shower here. So a little sink and a stand-up shower, which is pretty nice as well. It's a bit more cramped than the one in the master suite, but it's still fine for a full-size person to use for a shower without contorting too much. Okay, we go back down, and this is the other daggerboard case, just like on the port side. Okay, and on the left here is the toilet. So it's nice to have the two toilets, a toilet in each hull, so everyone can kind of have their own privacy and so on. You can see me in the mirror there. Sorry about that. There's the same thing, a little electric flush toilet. Again, it works super well. So just close that. And then the the forward cabin on the starboard side. This is the one that Gabby uses. So it's pretty nice. It's plenty big enough even for 2 people, this bed. So really you can sleep 6 people really comfortably, and then 8 people when you use the salon bed option as well. So it's pretty comfortable for a group of people sailing. And you've got a nice big window for visibility out there. And then there's also quite a bit of storage all along here, and storage locker here. So just to show you what that looks like. So shelves, and then on the other side is a hanging locker. And same thing with each of the cabins have their own separate air conditioning system, with the air conditioning controls over here. And same idea on the floor, there's a bunch of compartments. We don't tend to store too much in the floor compartments, just because if we need to access anything to work on it, it's not very convenient. So trying to keep as much storage out of there as possible, but we usually have a few things here and there when there's room. Alright, and we turn, same thing, there's another escape hatch on this side. You can see under the boat as well. And stairs leading back up into the salon. Alright, so that's pretty much a tour of what Wildling looks like on the inside.